I was just so committed to making this YouTube dream happen at all costs. So I decided to become a full-time YouTuber. And eventually I realized that I was not going to get monetized within the year. I'm getting no money from YouTube. And you're constantly being reminded that you're that much further from getting monetized when you just want to get monetized so bad. You really have to dig deep down and center yourself in the why. Why am I doing this? And if I'm being honest, I still feel as excited about this YouTube journey today as I did 2 years ago. In May 2023, a month after my mom died, I decided to start a YouTube channel. Initially, it was just to share my thoughts on grief, for me to process my own grief journey and also connect with anybody else who was grieving. And there was just something so therapeutic about making these YouTube videos. So I decided to become a full-time YouTuber. I had $12,000 in my savings and my expenses were about $1,000 a month, so I would be okay for 12 months. And so my plan was to post a YouTube video every single week and hope that I got monetized in a year. I kept this up till October 2023, and then I got pregnant. And then we found out we had to move houses. And then we found out we had to give our dog away. And it was just getting to be too much. Like, navigating grief was one thing, but then having to navigate grief while also navigating unexpected turbulence, while also trying to keep up with my YouTube videos. And I decided to take a pause and sit with whatever I was feeling and move through whatever emotions were coming up for me, and then to return to YouTube. And so I returned a couple months later, and I realized I was not able to keep up the weekly posting just because of how tough my pregnancy was. And eventually I realized that I was not going to get monetized within the year. But YouTube still felt like the right move for me. So I took a step back and I looked at my expenses and I brainstormed how I could reduce my expenses. I brainstormed if there were any side projects that I could get involved in, maybe make some money that way to help pay my bills. I was just so committed to making this YouTube dream happen at all costs. And here I am, April 2025, almost 2 years after I first started. I have finally uploaded the 52 videos that I initially intended to upload within the first year. And honestly, I'm really proud of myself. I'm so glad that I paused whenever I needed to these last 2 years instead of forcing myself to upload YouTube videos that I didn't feel good about. I'm so glad that I didn't give up, even if that sometimes felt like the easier option. And if I'm being honest, I still feel as excited about this YouTube journey today as I did 2 years ago. And I'm still waiting for the day that I become a full-time YouTuber. It's gonna happen. Trust me. So why am I still pursuing YouTube? Excellent question. I think for me, it comes down to 3 different things. There's the financial freedom that YouTube gives me. There's the internal growth that you just naturally fall into when making YouTube videos. And there's the creativity and joy that comes with the craft. Okay, financial freedom. I know this is ironic because I'm getting no money from YouTube. What I mean is not being tied to a job that restricts your work hours, restricts the kind of work you want to do, restricts the communities that you want to serve, which has been my experience in the past. Especially now raising a child with YouTube, I can work in the evenings and on the weekends when my partner comes home from his 9-to-5 job. I get to decide what I want to make my YouTube videos about. I get to decide who I want to center in my YouTube videos. And weirdly, having to decrease my monthly budget in order to continue pursuing YouTube as a career has healed parts of my relationship to money. Before, when I was working my 9 to 5, I would be spending so much money as a coping mechanism to make me feel better about my days. Whereas now, when I don't have as much money to spend, I rely on things other than money to soothe me. And I also have noticed that I value the things that I do have at home and the things that I do buy more than I did because money is so scarce. Like, if I buy skincare, every single time I use that skincare, I just feel so loved. The fact that I chose to spend money on something that would help heal my skin, I'm just so good at loving myself. In terms of internal growth, as somebody who spent 20 something years being a perfectionist, it's so healing to be able to upload videos that aren't perfect, to know that they will never be perfect, and to be okay with that. When you're completely new to YouTube videos, you're gonna make mistakes. And the beauty of making mistakes is that you get to learn from them. And sometimes that learning takes a very long time. And sometimes you're gonna have to post videos knowing they could be better, but you don't yet have the skills to make them better. And being okay with that, There's also been something really energizing about making YouTube videos and just telling my truth. Not sugarcoating it, not filtering it, not trying to consider other people's feelings in the room, because it's just me and my camera. And when those videos go up, I know that there are going to be people watching who have a lot of opinions about what I say. But you know what surprised me is how many people have reached out thanking me for saying what I said, because it's exactly what they needed to hear, or because it expanded their perspectives, or because it inspired them to live life the way that they've been wanting to, but maybe been a little too afraid to. Another thing that has been a delightful surprise is realizing that I can learn new things. You know, I watch my daughter and she is just so open to exploring every single thing around her. And I realized that as I grew up, I lost that a little bit. I started gearing towards things that I was good at. I was more hesitant to do things that I was terrible at. But I'm terrible at a lot of things involved in the process of making a YouTube video. And there's something exciting about trying something that I'm terrible at and trying it again and again and again until I become not so terrible at it. And sometimes maybe I'm still terrible at it. It's actually boosted my confidence because I now trust that I can try new things instead of just sticking to things I already know I'm good at. And finally, I've always been a really self-assured person, but I would say that my YouTube journey has really awakened an unwavering belief in myself. When you're not getting the subscribers you want, when you're not getting the likes you want, when you're not getting the views you want, and you're constantly being reminded that you're that much further from getting monetized, when you just want to get monetized so bad, when the external validations are just non-existent, all you have is yourself. It's easy to trust that you're going to get somewhere when you're constantly being rewarded along the way. But when you've got nothing, you really have to dig deep down and center yourself in the why. Why am I doing this? And continuously repeat that to yourself, sort of like a mantra. A lot of people might think that I'm being really unrealistic, but I think it's less about being unrealistic and more about being really certain about what you want and why you want it, and being committed to figure out a way to get there. no matter what. And then finally, creativity and joy. I've always prioritized joy in my life, even when I'm in a really depressive state. It's always been important to me to find a way to make space for joy, even if it's just for a moment. And after my mom died, seeking joy became my number one priority. It felt like the only way that I was going to survive. And every single step in the process of making a YouTube video brings me so much joy. It's so exciting to me, intentionally being able to put together a story for people that I deeply care about. I have always been a storyteller, and stories have always been so important to me. I believe that they are the foundation of our world, that they have the power to inspire radical change, to connect communities across their differences, to make people feel seen, heard, felt. And that's my goal with every single YouTube video that I put out there. I know my mom would be so proud of me for pursuing a career that's creative. I think creativity can be so healing, especially in a world that is so small-minded. I think it can make you feel free. I think it can make you feel hopeful. I think it can make you feel alive. So that, in a nutshell, is why I'm still out here in these YouTube streets. I'm so excited for where YouTube is gonna take me. And I know that there are gonna be moments of doubt, but I also know that every time I doubt myself, I'm gonna redirect that energy towards what I can do to improve my skills, to improve my channel, so that I can get closer to where I want to be. Thank you so much for watching this video, and also for sticking with me for the past almost 2 years now. I appreciate you so much. If you're interested, I've made a couple videos about my YouTube journey, so I'm gonna add them in here. That's all for now.